Brothers game, a Zelda game, a whatever, a Metroid game, that will never come. You know, like that's why you buy this stuff. You get a PlayStation because, you know, you hope one day Sony's going to bring back Crash Bandicoot, get those rights from Activision, or Jack and Daxter, or, you know, Ratchet and Clank and God of War, and, you know, all of these. You want the first party franchises. That's part of the reason why you invest in a console. Mm-hmm. With Microsoft, it's like they have some big heavy hitters that they've had huge success with: Halo, Gears, Forza, and how, like, which games they really lean on and promote. That's changing in terms of a first party support and lineup.
Yeah.
And I could see them, in a way, I'm not saying they're going to do this, but I could see them saying, you know, well, listen, you did get Halo. You got the Master Chief Collection 2 years ago. You got Halo 5 Guardians last year, and we're still supporting, and we have plans to support. And by the way, their support on Halo 5 is fantastic. Free updates, new maps, new modes, armor. I was going to call them costumes, armor, weapons, all that stuff, just for free. Thanks for playing, and I love that. I don't think map packs. I don't think they should ever charge in first-person shooters anymore. I think, in my opinion, I think that's an old way of doing business because it fractures the user base. When a season pass comes out for Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever, which is happening for both Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Battlefield 1 this year. Like season passes, you are drawing a hard line in your player base. And I don't understand that. I would much rather you just nickel and dime everyone for costumes and cosmetics and like gun like patterns and stuff. Don't charge for maps. Just I like being able to play with the same amount of people I've always played with, and I like being able like you risk turning your map packs, and Halo saw this at times. I mean, all kinds of games have seen this, where the DLC packs, they turn into ghost towns. No one's really playing them. Titanfall. Like, I don't believe Titanfall 2, I swear they said this, Respawn said this. Maybe they haven't. Maybe I'm making it up. But I swear they said that they are leaving the season pass idea behind. And they're just going to have free updates with Titanfall 2. Like I said, I could be making that up. And if I am, I hope they do it. Because the DLC maps, ghost towns, and none of them were named Ghost Town. You know, it's not like, I think there was a Ghost Town map in Halo. But anyway, to go back to the point where they could say, we gave you Halo 5 last year and we're still supporting it. And Halo Wars 2 comes out fall 2016. I could see Microsoft saying, well, Halo 6, it's not going to be on Xbox One. Or it's going to be on some more enhanced version of Xbox One, just so that they can leave the hardware behind. You know, Xbox One was designed to be this all-in-one console, and it kind of failed at doing that for most people. It put Kinect first. It put your cable box first in a weird way, especially in the age of cord cutting.
Yeah.
Still great, like media support and app support, and it's going to get better this summer with Windows 10, or the Universal Windows Platform apps coming to Xbox. That's really exciting. That's great. I think that's probably the future of Xbox, is being not the set-top box. I still think you're gonna design games for a dedicated Xbox platform. I think you're still gonna have good hardware in those boxes, but I think that's gonna be one of the few pieces of hardware that Microsoft produces. It already is. And they're going to say, yeah, the next version of Xbox, whether that's an Xbox 4 or 4K or Xbox 2 TWO, whatever they want to call it, I think they're going to lead with, guess what? You design on PC, you design on Windows 10, it's automatically supported on Xbox 4 or Xbox 2. And we're going to see the start of that this year. I don't know, honestly, how far that's going to extend with this console. And I think if anyone's going to jump the gun, if we are going to have traditional console cycles and generations, even with Neo on the horizon, and we've been hearing that NX might be also embracing the iterative design as well, where you have a base platform. And when we say iterative, we mean kind of like an iPhone or an iPad, where you have this like a base level of tech that you support and you design for, but then you're always releasing either annually or every couple years or every 3 years. You release a better version of that to take advantage of new technology without cutting off the limb and flipping off all of the early adopters who bought the last version.
Right, and I think that's what's going to be really interesting to see what Microsoft does, because if they were to go ahead and try to move on, and I think that they would have to figure out a way to make everything backwards compatible, but not just backwards compatible, but also as far as like multiplayer, like you want to be able to have their Xbox One and whatever they want to call the next one communicate and allow players to play with each other.
Yeah.
And then, saying that, that's basically what the PS 4.5 is. So maybe we're just getting caught up on the words and the terminology.
Right.
Saying that PS 4.5 is iterative and that Xbox Next Box, maybe saying that's the next generation, or PlayStation's iterative, maybe it's really the same thing and we're just calling them two different things. But
that's very possible.
And again, it's so tough when you're going off speculation. Like we said, for Microsoft, for everything that we know, and we know nothing about like Nintendo and PlayStation, we really know nothing about Microsoft. Yeah, they're just a big question mark for me right now. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they show.
It's really interesting. This whole industry is so fascinating to look at right now, because it could really go in several different directions, and maybe it will. Maybe it will go in several different directions at once. Maybe VR will be embraced by the mass market, while like augmented reality starts catching on with HoloLens, and maybe Nintendo is dabbling in that area as well. Like, we have no idea what NX is or what it does or how it works. We don't know. Maybe iterative consoles will be the next big thing. Maybe people will just start running out, and you start planning on, well, I'm not going to buy the PS5, but I'm going to wait for the PS5S. Maybe you start approaching your purchases like you would in upgrading an iPhone.
Oh, God,
and I am not.
The poor developers.
I know.
Oh, they're just crying right now, man. I can't even imagine.
And I'm not in any way suggesting that like phone tech and console tech are even close, but I think that you can look at both spaces and you can learn things.
Yeah.
And we've already seen that. Like, we see that in the console space, the way games are designed. There are a lot of free-to-play tactics used, except they're still getting your $60 up front. As well as nickel and diming you throughout the next year. Which hopefully that'll change. And I think next time we can talk about maybe more specifics in terms of like announcements from Sony and Microsoft and stuff we want to see, because we know like those are big question marks as well. We don't know what 2017 looks like for Sony. We have no idea what that looks like for Microsoft either. Like, we can speculate Crackdown is probably next year, but we don't know for sure. And then what else? What else is coming? But I think to kind of wrap this up, we teased it earlier.
Oh, jeez.
We teased it earlier.
Oh, don't do this to me. Don't do this.
I know.
Oh, no, it's not high. It's depressing and frustrating. And
while we talk about speculation of E3 and our fears and our dreams and desires, we should also briefly talk about our pixel pie in the sky for this week.
So, oh God, I can't even. Just give me a second. Let me recover before I explain this. This is going to be really frustrating for many of you. So, pixel pie in the sky. I just kind of wanted to throw the idea out that we could discuss our dreams. the unicorns in the gaming universe. The things that we desperately want that will probably never happen. So really, it's kind of an S&M moment. Yeah, you like that tie-in?
Yeah, I like it.
It's kind of an S&M moment for us where we just like to torture ourselves and
we're tied in all right.
Imagine what will never be. So, God, Jason, you had to bring this one up. So our little discussion for today, for this episode, will be the Pokemon game that could be.
Oh, man.
The possibilities. And this is something that you and I had joked about and talked about before, but
joked about. I wasn't kidding.
And every time we discuss it, we both end up in tears at the end.
Well, basically, because you know what has been done with other games and what a franchise and a world and a cast of characters, we'll probably be approaching 900 Pokemon by the end of this year, potentially, if it's that many editions. 800 for sure. We'll cross that threshold. Like, we know what can be done with that type of game. And I want to hear you describe what Pokemon could be. You tell me what it should be.
In a world where Pokemon roam freely and you can go anywhere you want. No, just imagine a massive open world. You can literally explore anything, go anywhere, and it's filled with thousands of other players, other Pokemon trainers battling to be the next Pokemon master. And as far as like unlocking new areas, like I think we had discussed this before, the World of Warcraft model. Imagine like right now we get all these Pokemon games. You get Red, Blue, Yellow, Emerald, Black, Sun, Moon, everything. And the worlds never connect. But what if the worlds just continued to build an even greater world where you could continue to explore everything? Every time a new world is unlocked, you can still live in your old world and visit the new one. But it just unlocks more areas and more Pokemon, more legendaries. And it just continues to build a bigger and bigger and bigger world where anything is possible. And where everybody in the world really is fighting to be the ultimate Pokemon master. Imagine having not just some little base like they started doing in the recent Pokemon games, but like you could have your own house and your own village, your own city. Like maybe start your own Pokemon clan. You could be the next Team Rocket. Like you don't have to be a good Pokemon trainer. You can be a bad one.
Oh no, I love this.
You could try to take over the world, man. So you've got these clans and people, everybody doing their own thing. Maybe somebody like in a lot of these MMO models, maybe somebody just wants to be a Pokemon breeder. Maybe somebody wants to be a Pokemon groomer. And you can do anything in the Pokemon world and it be what you want to be, explore what you want to explore in an ever expanding world where nothing is ever irrelevant. You never have to transfer Pokemon again. It just gets bigger and better.
So when you challenge a gym leader, maybe you are actually competing with other players to take that role of gym leader.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that can be your clan. Whether you're Team Rocket or I get with 10 of my buddies and we start Kalos, I don't know what kind of gym we want to have. But that's the thing. You can make whatever gym you want.
Yeah, firefighting, represent. Let's do it.
Decorate it however you want. Show what you want. Like, build it how you want. And that...
So you start off
getting
in
excited and I shouldn't be. I need to bring myself...
Pallet Town. We're gonna go old school on this. You start off in Pallet Town. And the progression is similar. You go through that specific continent. You battle the gym leaders. You catch them all. You challenge, You know, not only